All right. Let's turn off the music for a little bit. Okay, folks, it's showtime. Welcome to the Karna. Morning, neighbor, morning. Happy New Year to all the friends, followers, contributors, and sponsors of the Karna. My name is Pablo, and I'm the proud producer and host of Pablo's Kreolese Karna, the show dedicated to keeping Guyana's rich Kreolese culture alive through poetry, music, storytelling, and edutainment. Ayo! Welcome to the first show of 2022 upon the Karna and the 10th show overall. So we're making progress. Before we get into the meche, as we just say, let me give thanks like we always do to the Most High, Jehovah, the Divine One, who created this reality we called life. Alright? Ayo! Next, we must always remember, respect, and venerate our ancestors who endured enough tribulation, but somehow still found the strength to persevere through chattel slavery, indentureship, and imperialism so that we could all be here today. So let me do we part individually and collectively to add to that great legacy we inherited from the ancestors. Big ups to the ancestors. Ayo! Finally, the Karna is all about love and compassion. So in that tradition, we sending out warm hugs of support and encouragement to folks going through a rough patch right now. Keep your head up. Old people say, tough times don't last, but tough people do. So stay strong, this too shall pass. Ayo! Remember to share the live link upon your Facebook pages, groups, and invite your friends to join the Kreolese line upon the Karna. As you may have seen, we have a new schedule in 2022. It will be the first and third Saturdays of every month. We'll have the live show at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And the theme for today's line is positive vibes. In fact, that's my resolution for 2022, is just to be patiently positive. All right, so here is the rundown for today's show. All right, so we're in a new format. I've decided to go with Zoom and live stream from Zoom to Facebook. So our rundown for today is first a welcome message, as you can see, followed by an opening Guyanese proverb. Then we'll have a sponsor shout out, a featured Kreolese short story, followed by a featured Kreolese book. We have a book today, but we may have an article in the future. That will be followed by a featured Kreolese poem, then a Guyanese artist tribute. You've got a wonderful painter being featured today, who is from Esikrebo, I think, but has roots in Berbice. I'll tell you more about him in that segment. Next, we'll have a featured performances actually, and I'm very pleased to announce that my very good friend and a very accomplished musician in his own right, Brother Alfred Adams, will be featured today, along with a guy named Pablo GT. All right? So I'm looking forward to that segment. Number 9, we'll have a live chat with Brother Alfred. So I'm looking forward to that, followed by a sponsor shout out, a closing Guyanese proverb, and birthday shout outs. If you've got a birthday, just put it in the link in the feed and I will give you a shout out if I see it, okay? If not, I'll give you a shout out later. All right? We'll have some announcements. I've got a big announcement. I'm launching actually my Dub Creolese album, Pepper Pot, launches today. So I'll tell you more about that in that segment. Closing remarks, and we're done. All right, so that's the show. Please share the link. we probably go over an hour today because I want to make sure that we give Alfred enough time to talk about his music and his featured song. All right? Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the opening Guyanese proverb. Our opening Guyanese proverb for show number 10 is, "Na because snake na got foot, he can't run." Let me repeat that. "Na because snake na got foot, he can't run." Now what do I mean? That mean that having a handicap is not a deterrent to overcoming obstacles and pursuing your dreams. Alright? Not because snake na got foot, he can't run. Alright? So big ups to all our friends and family members with so-called handicaps. We know that you can do great things. Alright? So that's the premise of this opening proverb. Alright. Moving right along. I'm very pleased today to feature our first ever narration by a writer, a Kreolese writer. And our featured writer today is none other than my very good friend, Sharon U. Koraya. Let's give her a big round of applause. Little by Bicycle and I Got Breaks, brought to you by Sharon U. Koraya. Congratulations, Sharon. Here is your story.
Howdy there, people. Well, the year not so brand new no more, but I hope all you alright. I still wishing y'all the best for the new year though. This story named Lil by Bicycle and I Got Breaks. Now they had this lady named Cousin Sylvie. That's not her real name though. Cousin Sylvie had a bunch of disgusting botheration by children them. From eggs to young ones, worthless bad. Then mommy decided to get them by his grandmothers for manners them. Here was the plan. One grandmother was an Adventist and the other grandma was a staunch Lutheran member. Them little boy got to go to church whole weekend. Cousin Sylvie think that gonna fix them. Their friends getting to play cricket and catch bird and all kind of thing on Saturday. While them there and the heavy manners in church. The ball field they were right next to the Adventist church. This bright Sabbath day, they had a rollicking cricket match going on. The biggest boy not hearing a thing was going on in the church. He fix on the game. In the middle of the sermon, when pastor just getting deep in the word, somebody knock a six. The boy nearly fly off the seat. He jump up and holler, "Take that! Knocky again for 6, Lyndon." Church gone quiet. You could hear a pin drop. Grandma vex bad. It's only left for she box that boy. She looking murderously at the poor little boy. Church broke up. All them young folks sniggering and giggling. Them old folks mad so till. Here one of them old no nonsense brother. Loud. He carking down the pastor. Somebody should get that boy and cut his ass. Oh Lord. Church broke up for the day after that. Poor Cousin Sylvie shame so tail.
Oh Lord.
But what she can do? She says she ain't able no more. Both done Ghana Falls. So she just left them little worthless boy alone for their father deal with them. Their father working on the timber grant, so he ain't coming home too steady. Them little boys and their friends making bare mischief again. This time was the Lutheran church involved. Somehow, them worthless children find the stash of communion wine. Them sneak in the church and decide for partake. Them boy knock out a couple bottles. Well, next thing you know, them little boy and some little girls too, drunk like fish, They get on the church organ singing to the top of their voice.
Drunk like fish.
The uncle come and march every man jack out of there with a promise for deal with a little behind later. Them men gave a hoot to our uncle saying, them laughing up bad and staggering home. They gone to sleep merry until the next day when them sober up and get a good cocktail. It only take them about a week for them misbehave again. They had an old uncle. Well, not really was them uncle. They just used to call his son. You don't know how them country people stay. He used to live in a shack. And he just sling him up to the poles of the flimsy little trash house and sleep. That was his bed. Uncle used to sleep like a sloth to a call up tight in the tree. He snoring loud because he used to take up his little sauce in the afternoon.
Tight.
You know what I'm talking about?
Tight like
little
noodles.
paiwari or bambali or little baboon skin, something like that. One night, a squaw come and pick up old uncle and the whole house and drop it over a little creek nearby. He ain't know nothing till he open his eyes and find himself hanging over the water. He bawling for help. Them little boy gone and help he, but they make sure that he ain't come down too quick. Because they cackle with laugh. They gone and tell the story to everybody in school next day. When them school children passing the old man place, they laughing and pointing their finger. The old man vex and chase them down. Every day after that, they tormenting that poor old man. It's only when their fathers catch them and trunks their little tail that they stop. Them is big men now. I hope none of them little worthless boys wrong them ain't repaying them for them deeds. Because as y'all know, little by bicycle naga breaks. Walk good, y'all hear? Bye.
Yo, thank you very much, Sister Sharon. All right, so that was Little by Bicycle Nagat Breaks by Sister Sharon Correa. And I want to take this opportunity here to thank my beautiful sister from the Berbice River, Sharon U. Correa, who is an excellent writer. She writes in standard English as well as Kreolese. So thank you. That was a wonderful story. I really enjoyed that. Took me back to my river days. You know, I used to live in Kimbia, you know, so as a river man too. All right, so that was Little by Bicycle Nagat Breaks, our short story. So moving on to the next item on our show today, which is our featured Kreolese book. So let me just share the cover of this book. And again, all of the featured stories, poems, songs, and books, etc. will be shared on Kreolese Korner 2021's Facebook page. That's Kreolese with a K and Korner with a K. So if you haven't liked the page, just like it right now. Just search Kreolese Korner 2021. That's Kreolese with the K and Korner with the K. And make sure you like the page so you can get updates. All right? So by Monday, I'll share all of the items that were on today's program. So let's go right into our featured book. Today's featured book is titled Rediasporization. Big word, right? I'll explain what that means, but I want to give the author a big up. Now, this is a very intelligent and accomplished female Guyanese doctor. Her name is Dr. Gillian Richards Greaves. That's Dr. Gillian Richards Greaves. And she's an associate professor of anthropology at Coastal Carolina University in the Department of History. She's an anthropologist and ethnomusicologist. All right, let me repeat that. This Guyanese sister is both an anthropologist and an ethnomusicologist. All right? So let's show her some love for doing the great works there at the University of Coastal Carolina. All right? And her research interests include the musical, cultural, linguistic, and ritual expressions of the African diaspora, particularly of the English-speaking Caribbean. All right, so that's a little bio for the author of this book, Dr. Jillian Richards Greaves. And I will just give you the abstract, and then I will share the link for the book so you can pick up a copy. This is one of several books that she has authored, but we're featuring this one today. So, Rediasporization, African Guyanese Kwekwe. Let's talk about that. This book examines how African Guyanese in New York City participate in the Come to My Kwekwe ritual to facilitate rediasporization, which is, so now rediasporization actually means the creation of a new diaspora from an existing one. All right? So rediasporization means creating a new diaspora from an old one. Right? So I learned something new today. Now, since the fall of 2005, African Guyanese in New York City have celebrated Come to My Kwekwe, more recently called Kwekwe Night, on the Friday evening before Labor Day. So this was before the pandemic. And hopefully it will continue this year post-pandemic. Knock on wood. Now, Come to My Kwekwe is a reenactment of the uniquely African Guyanese pre-wedding ritual called Kwekwe, and sometimes referred to as Karkale, yes, Karkale or Kakale, Mayan, Kwekwe, and Pele. A typical traditional wedding-based Kwekwe has approximately 10 ritual segments, which indicate the pouring of libation. We all know what libation is, right? To welcome or appease the ancestors. A procession from the groom's residence to the bride's residence. So that's a little abstract for this wonderful book titled Rediasporization. I encourage you all to pick up a copy. I will pick up a copy myself, and that's our featured book today. So congratulations, Dr. Jillian Richards Greaves. Your book is the featured book on today's show, Pundi Karna. Dr. Richards can be reached on Instagram at Jillian Richards Greaves. That's Jillian with 2 L's, Richards with an S at the end, and then Greaves, Greaves. So be sure to follow her on Instagram. That's Jillian Richards Greaves. The link to order the book is at upress, that's upress.state.ms.us. And then you would search for rediasporization. Or you could just do a Google search, which I did, and it will pull up the book for you. All right, so let's support our sister who is doing great things at Coastal Carolina University. All right, so I will share this link on the page by Monday. So today's poem is titled MIH STILL DEH YAH, and some of you may have heard it. That's one of my my earlier joints in the Dub Creolese genre. And I'm going to share that with you right now, which will be followed by the next segment of the show. All right. MIH STILL DEH YAH by Pablo. Them lick up Baba Agba. Drag him in chain cross the big river. Sell him like hog. Walk him like mule. Strip everything but the skin off he back. But Me still there ya. Me still there ya, oh. Me still there ya, though. Massa lick up me ancestor. But me still there ya. Them lick up nanny. Them lick up nanaba. Lick am pon the boat. Lick am pon the field. Massa lick am and laugh. Nanny will. Nanaba cry. Baby born with massa eye. But me still there ya. Me still there ya, oh. Me still there ya, though. Massa lick up me ancestor. But me still there ya. Them lick up coffee. Them lick up Korner. Spike them head pon the road Karna. Rat and crow fight over flesh and bone. Massa laugh till he red. Kofi and Kwame are dead. But me still there ya. Me still there ya, oh. Me still there ya, though. Massa lick up me ancestor. But me still there ya. Me still there ya. We still there ya. Ayo. So that was Me Still There Ya by Pablo GT. Hope you enjoyed it. Give me some feedback on the feed. Let me know. Show Pablo some love, all right? I really like that piece because it speaks about perseverance, right? As I mentioned earlier in the show in my intro section, we are here because our ancestors endured. Kofi, Kwamina, Nani, Nanaba, you name it, Baba Agba. Those are our ancestors. And they came from all parts of the world, disparate parts of the world. They came from Africa, they came from India, they came from Madeira Islands, they came from Europe, they came from right here in this continent, right? They came from China. So we have to venerate and lift up our ancestors at all times. In fact, Kreolese, the language that we are preserving here in the show, is a testament, is our inheritance from our ancestors. So, me still there ya, we still there ya, thanks to our ancestors. Ayo! All right, so moving right along, the next item on our agenda is a Guyanese artist tribute. So I'm honored today to pay tribute to a wonderful, a prolific painter. His name is James Mingo. So let me just share his website with you and go through a few of his outstanding pieces of art. So congratulations, Brother James Mingo. You are the featured artist on show number 10 from the Karna. Now let me give you a little background on Brother Mingo. Brother James Mingo, I did some research. There wasn't much online, but I found out through a friend of mine by the name of Mingo from New Amsterdam that Brother James Mingo has roots in Berbice, but he grew up in Essequibo, right? And I know that he spent time in Brooklyn as well as in Houston, Texas. The last information online is that Brother James Mingo lives in Houston, Texas. But I've since heard through the grapevine that they're back home in GT. All right. So wherever you are, Brother James Mingo, congratulations. You are the featured artist on today's show, number 10, Pundi Karna. So let me just go through his website here for you. As you can see, there are a number of collections. He's a very prolific painter. You've got one here with animals. So I'm just going to click on one of them and kind of go through the slideshow. All right. So you've got here a beautiful piece called Giraffe Love, right? Which is, get this out of the way. Giraffe Love features 2 giraffes with a heart shape made by their necks and heads. So that's beautiful. And each piece is available as a wall art, which is $22. As a home decor, maybe a pillow for $26, and there are different sizes as well. And these are the smallest sizes featured. You can also get a duvet cover, you can get a shower curtain, you can even get a lifestyle, a bag, handbag, you can get stationery, phone cases, etc. So each of these pieces you can get in a number of different forms. So let's do a few more. This is the elephants doing the same thing, so that's beautiful. And this one is titled Mr. Rooster. Wow, that's so real. Wow, that's amazing. And I will share the links to Brother James Mingo's websites on the page. So if you'd like to reach him right now, the website is james-mingo.pixels.com. All right, that's james-mingo.pixels.com. All right. So let's go back to the collections page and do one more collection here. And then we'll move right along. I've got some more information to share about Brother James. And okay. All right, so that's the Animal Walls Art collection. And then we'll go to my favorite collection is the Tropical Landscapes collection. So let's go there and share a few of his pieces from the Tropical Landscape. All right, so this first one is titled The Cenotaph or Cenotaph, Guyana. All right, so that's there. Again, it's available as wall art. You can get frames, framed pieces. A framed print would be about $88, starting at $88. You get a canvas print, you get an art print, you get a poster for $22 at various sizes. A metal print, an acrylic print, etc. So the next piece in this collection is titled Alexander Street, Georgetown. Now look at that. That's so real. This is so real. Wow. I love this piece. I might pick this up myself. The next piece is titled Old House Guyana Series. Now this reminds me of my grandmother's house in Islington Village. This is so real. Look at those banana trees and the coconut trees. Wow, this is really, really good. And he was even able to show the aging of the wood on the house. Maybe green heart or purple heart. You got a clothesline here with clothes. Wow, this is really, really good. Excellent work by Brother James. Let's do a few more and then we'll move on. This is the Masqueraders at the Square of the Revolution. All right, here we've got the Masqueraders. We've got the Coffee Monument here. Beautiful again. Look at the landscape, the sky, the coconut trees and the horizon. This is so colorful and dramatic. I love it. You've got Long Lady here, Mad Bull over here. All right, you got the drummer here. There we go. Nice, nice. And finally, we'll do Cayman Islands. So this, our sister Sharon Ukaraya can relate to this. Of course, Brother James Mingo features a lot of his art is about impulses and references in the Caribbean diaspora. So enough love, big up to Brother James, and I'm gonna stop this share here. In fact, let's keep it right here. I'm gonna go back to the main page and stop on the next one. All right, let's do this. And that's the street in Cayman Islands, which I'm sure Sharon Ukaraya can relate to. So a few more blurbs on Brother James. And I have an artist statement here from the artist. He says, and I quote, "My artwork covers all aspects of our society. Quite often, these themes are combined into installations that features various everyday objects, familiar pieces, abstract representation of shapes and forms. My approach to each project varies, but my method is consistent. Although this is not always apparent, there is always a connection. I am constantly challenging myself. So that's the artist statement. And like I said, Brother James Mingo is very prolific. He has done a number of exhibitions. A few include the 2011 CDSC Starving Artists Exhibition at Classen Avenue, Brooklyn. 2010 as well. He's done the 2000 Dumbo Art Center Pop-Up Art Sale in Washington Street, Brooklyn. He's done the 2009 Portraits of Obama. That was at the Urban River Arts in Brooklyn, New York. And he's done the 2009 BESAA Studio Strut. I think that's Bessie Smith Strut at PS 35, Brooklyn, New York. And he's also done in 2008 the Diversity Art Exhibition, which is a world culture at the World Culture Open Gallery in New York, New York. So enough love to Brother James. I'm going to stop this share right now and come back into the screen. Wonderful. So that's Brother James Mingo. Be sure to support him at, let's see here. Okay, sweet. All right, so moving right along. Our next item on the program is the live performances. And we've got two live performances today. We've got one by myself, which is titled Dorothy. And Dorothy is a story about a fictional character from Itika village. So any resemblance to persons living or deceased is purely coincidental. All right? Gotta give you that disclaimer. So without any further ado, I give you Dorothy, which will be followed by On Our Way by brother On Our Way, We Children of Guyana by Alfred Adams. So let's do Dorothy first, then we'll do On Our Way, and then we'll have a live interview with the artist, the writer, the creator of On Our Way, my brother, my friend, Brother Alfred Adams. All right, so I bring you Dorothy right now. Enjoy. Dorothy, a Dub Creolese giant by Pablo. Let me tell all you but one gal named Dorothy from the mystic village of Itika in the mother country of Guyana. Ayo! Dorothy was short in stature, but she was one giant in the game of love and rapture. Dorothy had the eyes of Cleopatra, the body of Aphrodite, and the soul of Yemaya. Yeah, man. Dorothy used for real them by in like Patwa, Huri, and Hassa. Then string them along like the lines to the song. Put more sugar in me bush tea, Dorothy. Stir it long but gently, Dorothy. Make me sweet broom simmer, Dorothy. Make it shake and shiver, Dorothy. Oh Lord! If you see how them buy use for fuss over Dorothy, if you see how them buy use for cuss over Dorothy, is what Dorothy do them by may use for wonder. Is how this tiny girl does wrap all them by wrong she little finger and make them scream and holler. Hola.
Put more sugar in me bush tea. Dorothy.
Stir it long but gently.
Dorothy. Make me sweet broom simmer. Dorothy. Make it shake and shiver. Dorothy.
So I asked my father, who was a big player back in the days. I asked him, is what Dorothy got, Daddy? Is what Dorothy do, Daddy? For catch all them by like sand 5 pound glue. Daddy said Dorothy was really the devil in disguise, sent from hell to cast a spell upon the weak agenda and make them scream and
Put more sugar in me bush tea.
Dorothy.
Stir it long but gently.
Dorothy.
Make me sweet broom simmer.
Dorothy.
Make it shake and shiver.
Dorothy. Said, Daddy, you lie. I'm going to show you why. So I decided to give Dorothy a try. Now she got me singing.
Put more sugar in me bush tea.
Dorothy.
Stir it long but gently.
Dorothy.
Make me sweet broom simmer.
Dorothy.
Make it shake and shiver.
Dorothy. Dorothy, nice bad.
Holy Santeria, Dorothy. Is where you put pon me, girl?
I should have listened to my daddy. Ayo. Alright, so that was Dorothy. Let me stop the share here. Okay, there we go. So that was Dorothy. Hope you enjoyed it. All right, if you did, show me some love in the comments there. All right, appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you, Savvy. Thank you, Carol. Appreciate the love. And now, without any further ado, I bring you On Our Way, We Children of Guyana by Acoustic Musical Storyteller, Brother Alfred Adams. So give it up for Brother Al.
Come on, let's move, let's break this day. Come on, let's go. Just as these futures pass, we will seek our truth. Just like my mama would always say, as she patches our clothes, she washed them in the stream. Mama like to keep her babies fresh and clean. He packs our bags, Papa always did as we said. Come give a hug and a kiss as we leave, and we're on our way. Oh, so on our way. No, we're not gonna be late for school, not today. So let's go, let's go, let's go. Shabba-doo-da-da, 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 shabba-doo-da-doo, shabba-doo-da-da, 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 sha-whoop-oo, sha-whoop-oo. His uplifted sails, his anchors away. Is up these streams, is on we roll. We're gonna change this world, we're gonna save these trees. And you, Mr. Rainy Forest, you're not going nowhere. Cause we're on our way. Oh, so on our way. No, we're not gonna be late for school, not today. So let's go, let's go, let's go. We're on our way. Gonna make mommy proud, daddy proud one day. Lots of lessons to be learned in school today. So let's go, let's go, let's
right. Oh man, that was a beautiful piece of music, man. Wonderfully done, brother Alfred Adams, our esteemed, accomplished acoustic musical storyteller who hails from Linden. And thank you, brother. I gotta bring out this. That was wonderful. Well,
how you doing? How you doing? Can you hear me?
Pretty good. I can hear you, brother Alfred.
Nice.
Thank you again for sharing that beautiful piece On Our Way with us.
Yes,
and we're moving on to the next segment of the show, which is the first on the Karna. We've got a featured guest who happens to be the writer and singer on the song that you just heard, which is called On Our Way. And I'm just going to change the view so we have a gallery. Here we go. So that's side by side. Brother Alfred, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm good. You know, I decided to, seeing that the show is called the Kreolese Korner, and I decided to climb this tree and do the show from, you know, I didn't got a guinea tree, I ain't got a mango tree. So there's this tree up front of my house. I decided to climb this tree and do the show from, from the tree.
I love it. It's all about creativity and originality here. I love it. I love it. But let me tell you, man, now that I've had a chance to really listen to On Our Way, you did a bang-up job with it, man. It's the graphics are beautiful and the words are even better. All right? So let's get into our Q&A. All right?
Yes, sir.
You ready?
I am ready, sir.
There you go. Now, the first question is, what inspired you, my brother, to write the lyrics for On Our Way?
Yeah, I think it's something that was bubbling inside of me ever since I was a little kid. Well, as you said, I'm from Linden, right? So as a little kid, my mother would always take us to Georgetown via the RH car. You know, so you would get on the RH car, it'd be like a day trip. So there'd be all kinds of food and picnic.
That's a boat. Sorry, that's a boat.
That is a boat that travels from Linden to Georgetown back and forth. So we would travel on this. It's called the RH car. It's a boat that was, I think it was some sort of a used boat that ended up in Guyana. I think it was from England or something like that. So, but on the way to either Georgetown or Linden, the boat would stop at various points on the river. And these folks would just like paddle out to the boat and collect their mail and their rations and stuff, and bring mail to be mailed and that kind of thing. So I was always intrigued. I would always go to the side of the boat and look at this stuff, you know, and I was always intrigued about these people that lived in these remote areas, you know. So, and as a matter of fact, my mother is part indigenous. So this stuff has been bubbling in me for a little bit. So about 10 years ago, I saw a picture my buddy of mine had posted a picture on Facebook of these kids paddling to school, and it immediately kind of jerked, you know, brought those memories, you know, and so I was so intrigued by it that I decided, you know what, this is a moment in time with these kids in this boat. They're paddling to school, which is something that we don't know about, right? But these kids are paddling to school, so this is a moment in time. But so what I want to do is tell the rest of the story. Okay. So we're seeing them in the boat, right? But I know there's so much more to this than meets the eye. So absolutely. So I figured I'd go back a few hours. As the song opens, it says, "Come on, let's move. Let's break this day. Come on, let's go." So I'm seeing the older sister who's in the boat waking up the rest of the brothers and sisters and tell them, "Come on, let's go. We have to go to school. Just as futures pass, we will seek our truth." Yes. Just as Mama would tell us as she patches our clothes and as she washed them in the stream, you know. So I'm trying to get all these things about the life. And then I'm speaking about he packed our bags. Papa always did, you know, as he said, "Come give a hug and a kiss as we leave," you know. So I'm trying to present this what my thinking is, you know, of indigenous life, you know. Okay. Sure, it's way more than that. Of course. Well, thank you for sharing that. But that's where it came from. That's where it came from. Wonderful. Thank you, brother. Now, obviously, it took some time
to go from inspiration to the finished product.
Yeah.
Now, how long did it actually take you to complete this project?
I don't know. You know, there's for me to actually go to the desk and start recording. Incidentally, everything that you're hearing there, I recorded myself. You know, I've mic'd my drums. I played the bass, I played the guitar, and horns I would play on my keyboard, and just like create a lot of tracks, and then just export them and take them to a mixing master person, and have it mixed. But for me to get to the desk to start recording, I have to really feel the song, you know. So it took me a while to complete it lyrically and musically. Right. You know? So I would say a half a year. Half a year.
Okay. Yeah. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Because go and come back, go and come back, go and come back. You know, you're never satisfied. And at some point you got to say, okay, that's it. That's the song, you know. So
would you consider yourself a perfectionist?
Look, one time I was recording a song, right? And I was doing the vocals and doing it over and over. Well, I got my own studio at home, so I don't have to pay for studio time. Right. So because of that, I take as much time as I need. Right. And every time you do a different version, right, the software, the DAW, shows you what version you at. And I was like about 88 or 89, heading to 100 times that I've done this vocal, you know. Wow. So
sounds like OCD there, brother. I have a therapist if you need one.
I was gonna say it is not just about perfectionism, you know.
Gotcha.
There's a problem there that was.
I hear you. It's a good problem though, because the final product is really makes a difference in the world. Because
I appreciate that.
I really feel that good music, like your music, like On Our Way, is to me it's like a spring day filled with roses in bloom and butterflies in the air. I mean, the beauty is just there. You feel it, right?
Thank you.
So even if I couldn't see the video, if I just listened to the music, I would feel the beauty.
Especially when you say we're on our way, you know, that's a...
Oh, yeah. I love it.
It speaks to life in general, you know?
Right. Now, let's get to this. Sorry to interrupt you. Let's get to this. Sure. Now, I know you don't consider yourself a singer.
Yes, sir.
Now, obviously, you have many talents, right? You have talents on the writing side, on the producing side, on the musical side, as well as on the storytelling side. All right. Yes. Now, which brings me to your title, which I've always been fascinated by, and that's Acoustic Musical Storyteller.
Yes.
Now,
sir.
Tell us about that.
Well, if you remember the first time you tried to get me to stream. You said, "Hey, Alfred, why don't you come on and sing some of your songs?" And I said, "Stop. do not advertise me as a singer. Right. Advertise me." And this is based on my utmost respect for folks who were born with that gift.
Right. You know?
There are people who are born with that gift of singing.
Absolutely.
They can do all kinds of runs with their throats and do all kinds of, and this is my respect for that. And so I grew up in a house where I listened to like Johnny Mathis, Nat King Cole. I listened to all the greats because Sarah Vaughan, because my people were into music. And so, but what I do is I love to tell stories, right? So if something intrigues me as a story, I like to tell stories.
Yes.
So that's the most important thing. Anything you hear from me is going to have a strong story that could stand on its own.
Absolutely.
But then my love for music creeps in. And so I present these stories musically.
Gotcha.
Right? I present my stories musically, which is easier for the ears to accept.
Right.
So I'm not a singer.
Right.
But I'm a musical storyteller. and most times it's acoustic.
It's acoustic. Wonderful. Well, thank you, my brother.
Yes,
now I'm going to throw a question that just came to me, and there's a lot of young musicians emerging from Guyana and in the diaspora, Guyanese in the diaspora as well.
Yes.
What advice would you give them? Something that you learned in your decades of experience. What advice would you give someone who is young, thinking about getting into music, maybe as a singer, a writer? Let's start with maybe being a singer.
Right.
What advice would you give them?
Well, okay, being a singer, you know, you have to be you have to be true to yourself. And what the kids they have access to things we didn't have access to as kids, you know. So growing up in Guyana, to me, as a person who was obsessed with music, and I mean obsessed with music, it wasn't taken seriously. I mean, my parents loved it, like, oh, you know, look at that, look at Junior, he playing the drums, that kind of thing, you know. So, but it wasn't viewed as a way of making a living, you know.
Gotcha.
It was like just a jam, you know. You can,
yeah.
play some music. So, but now they have access to the internet, and they have access to world-class singing,
right,
and world-class production. So my advice in general, not just the singers, my advice is to understand that the thing that really sells you is not your ability to do runs as a singer. The thing that sells you is your uniqueness, right?
Yeah.
And so the human air and the human being is always seeking something new and something fresh.
Right.
So find yourself, find you, but make sure you present you at a world-class level, you know? And so don't be obsessed with making sure that your own people love you. Make sure that you can present yourself globally. And when you make your name globally, then you drop that stuff, because people always want to know where you from.
Right.
Where you from?
Right.
You know, and then you bring in the Guyana thing, and then they're all intrigued now.
Wonderful,
you know?
Wonderful.
So
Well, thank you, brother. It's always good to share some nuggets of knowledge with the next generation of musicians. And I can certainly relate to a lot of what you said. You and I have had countless hours of conversations on this and other subject matters.
Yes.
But the one other thing I wanted to add to this before we wrap it up, I have one more question after this, is the idea of being a professional musician. Obviously, not everyone is going to make it.
Yes.
And not everyone's going to make a living as a musician. So what advice do you have in that area?
I think someone like myself, as much as I love music, I've never wanted to be a star or known or anything like that. I just wanted to create some good music and have some ears listen to it. Now, I would suggest to anyone who wants to become a star, or to promote themselves, or to be known as a household name, if that's your goal, then it's not just about how well you can sing or how well you can write. You have to look at those folks out there who are stars, and look at what it is that made them that. You know,
Gotcha.
most of those folks got that it. There's an it that makes you a star.
Right.
You know? It's not just about your ability to sing or your ability to play drums. It's about how you look, how you wear your hair, you know. And in most cases, you know, that kind of stardom is a sort of a youthful game, you know. So as you go through life, you should still pursue your dreams, but this stardom thing, and you got to understand that when you become a star, there's always somebody trying to make money off of you.
Right.
So you have to set yourself up whereby you're sort of eliminating the middle person. You know, there's all kinds of platforms you can use these days to present yourself to the world.
Okay.
And make the people come after you. And you know those platforms. We discuss those platforms all the time. You know, so you present yourself. Present yourself in little doses, you know.
Gotcha.
30-second doses, doing your thing.
Yeah, thank you, brother. I really appreciate that, and I'm sure there are some young aspiring musicians out there who appreciate that nugget of advice. So I wish we had more time, but you know, it's an hour-long show. We may go over an hour a little bit.
Listen, time is overrated, man. That's just a concept. Let's just jam until like 4 or 5 this afternoon. Man.
I hear you, brother. I wish we could. Now, here's the thing. Now you've got a wide collection of music somewhere out there in the on the web.
Most of it on Vimeo,
now,
yes.
On Vimeo. So where can fans of your music, because I really, for me personally, I resonate with your brand of storytelling. Where can fans like me find your music? What's the best place?
Yeah, the best place would be on Vimeo.
On Vimeo.
And I use Vimeo as sort of the hub for everything that I do.
Okay.
There's some animation. There's all of my songs. There's like 150 videos I have on Vimeo.
Okay.
So the best thing to do is to go to Vimeo, go to Google, type Vimeo, and type my name after it, Alfred Adams.
Alfred Adams.
And it's going to take you to my account, and you can scroll through my songs. Some of them are covers because I love beautiful songs. I like doing them over, and a lot of it are my originals.
Wonderful.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this segment. Like I said, I wish we had more time, but Brother Alfred, the producer is playing the music in my ear, so it's about that time that we bid each other adieu. I want to thank you, first of all, for your contribution to the show today.
Anytime.
On Our Way was amazing, and also your insight that you shared with me and our viewers today. So thank you, brother.
Sure,
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, I'm gonna climb down from this tree and go get some breakfast and.
Yeah, man. All right, save some pepper pot there for me, man.
Yes, easy.
All right,
by the way,
thank
congratulations on the release of Pepper Pot.
Oh yeah, thank you. I'm gonna make that announcement. So you beat me to it there. All right, thank you, sir.
I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Yeah, and so
thank you.
Try to get myself a copy.
I've got pepper pot up there. You know.
There you go.
Right behind me. Yeah, man. All right, brother.
Take care.
All the best. We'll talk. Yeah.
More time.
All right. Peace.
Peace.
All right. So that was Brother Alfred. Let's go back to speaker. All right. Now that was amazing information, right? And I think I like this idea of having a guest on the show. So we'll try to have one featured guest each week going forward. And as you may have known by now, our schedule for this year for the Karna is to have a show on the first and the third Saturday of each month. So it won't be every Saturday, just the first and third Saturday of every month. So thank you again, Brother Alfred. So what we'll do right now is move on with the program. We've got a few minutes left. We'll probably go over to about 11:05, so that's all right. It was worth the extra time. So our next segment is the sponsor shout out. So of course we had the live interview with Brother Alfred. That was amazing. Thank you again, brother. And our sponsor shout out. Now the show is a member-driven, fan-driven show. So what I like to do is to reward every contributor to the show with a small token of our appreciation. And it could be a gift card, it could be a t-shirt, which we now have, and I will share that with you in a few minutes. So I'd like to invite you, to encourage you to make a small donation to the Karna's Prize Fund to reward and support our creative contributors. Now you can make a contribution via Zelle or PayPal to jpaul591@hotmail.com or to my cell phone at 678-488-6795, or you could do it via Cash App to $JSmooth2017. Again, the same cell phone. And of course, my name is James Paul. All right. So thanks in advance for your contribution. And a big thank you to the donors who have contributed to the show thus far. We've had quite a few, so I really do appreciate that. All right. So thank you again. And which brings us to the next segment, which is the closing proverb. So our closing proverb for today's show is: hill and hill don't meet, but man and man a meet. Hill and hill don't meet, but man and man a meet. The interpretation of this is: people will run into each other no matter how hard they try to avoid doing so. So like them people who owe people money and they're trying to dodge them, you can't dodge them. It's only hill can dodge hill. But man and man are meet. All right, so don't worry if the person owe you money. Eventually, y'all gonna meet up. All right? And then the story can start. So that's our closing proverb for today. And I will move on to the next segment, which is the birthday shout-outs, announcements, and closing remarks. So we'll move to that now. And I first of all want to say a happy birthday to my beautiful sister who celebrated a birthday on the 10th of January. Her name is Marcia Paul Ross. So love you, sis. I appreciate all you do. Keep on doing the great works. She's in Guyana right now having a ball. So be safe, have fun. Also to my friends Grace Batson Holder, Dr. Batson celebrated a birthday a few days ago. Happy birthday. My friend Sandrine Hope Bathersfield in Maryland, who is doing some great things there as well. So happy birthday, Sandrine. My friend Paula Liverpool celebrated a birthday this week. Happy birthday to you. Then I've got two brothers who are celebrating birthdays in the next few days. One is Dirk Willis, my best friend. And the other one is my other best buddy, Trevor Williams, right? So happy birthday to you all. And to all the fans. All right, big up, Brother Gregory. To all my fans, to all the fans of the show who's celebrating birthdays or whose family members celebrated birthdays this month, happy birthday to you. All right? So one love. Now, let's go on to our announcements. I've got a few announcements here. And the first announcement is, as Brother Alfred intimated, today actually, and gotta beat the drum and shake that thing for that, you know. Today marks the release of my first Dub Creolese album. Of course, my performing name is Pablo GT, which is Pablo GT, right? So it kind of plays off of OG and GT. So that's what it's all about. So Pepper Pot is the name of the album, and it's available today, and it's available at pablogT.hearnow.com. All right, so if you want to check it out, you know, support the brother. I've got 10. Let me actually share the screen for that page with you. Escape, so you can kind of see what the actual page look like. So it's pablogT.hearnow.com, and when you click on that website link in your browser, you would be brought to this page, right? This is the landing page for the digital album, and you've got the nice graphic which I created of the album, and we've got 10 of my Dub Creolese singles, the most popular based on feedback I received from fans over the past several months, and I've got about 36 pieces so far. But this is just 10 of the best. All right, so Ibinda is one, which most of you know. Ahuda, which is one of my favorites. And Ahuda plays off of that thing in Guyana that we say Ahuda. Ahuda say Ahuda when Ahuda say Ahuda. All right, so that was the inspiration for that song. Ayo, Ayo. As you know, Ayo is one of my favorite terms. Ayo means joy in the Yoruba language. So I like to use Ayo after the every poem that I recite. Mr. Leonard Jumbi. Now that's a fan favorite right there. Beautiful storytelling, if I may say so. Followed by Auntie Dinah, which is pretty cool. Dip It, King Pepper Pot, Wagwainan, One Day Soon, Until the Music Ends. So I encourage you all to support my creativity. Please share the link. Again, it's Pablo GT, that's PABLOGTEE .hearnow, HEAR now.com. All right, and the link is on my Facebook page as well as on the Kreolese Korner page. All right, so let's get back to the schedule. All right, so CDs and flash drives will also be available, and I'm gonna have you can inbox me for information on getting a CD. I've got about 100 copies that are available, a limited amount, but those should be coming in the next couple of weeks. I will also create some flash drives. So if I do a show or have an event somewhere in the country, I will have these items available. All right. In addition to that, in honor of the release of Pepper Pot, I created these wonderful t-shirts and hoodies, right? So you've got at jaysmoothfashion.com would be the website where you go, JAYSMOOTH fashion.com, and you can get one of these lovely t-shirts. It comes in about 10 colors. These are the yellow here on the left. You've got the white here on second left. Then you've got the hoodies. The hoodies are available in about 8 colors, right? You've got maroon, you've got a white, you've got a red, you've got a Kelly green, you've got a black, and you've got a oxblood black. And finally, there's another design here, which is just a minimalist pepper pot design, available in about 10 colors, and that's on the right. All right, so I appreciate your support in advance. jaysmoothfashion.com. You can go there and find that. So, and finally, I want to remind everyone we've got a new show scheduled for 2022. It's the first and third Saturday each month from 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you for joining the line today, and I will see you all next time upon the Karna. And let's leave the Karna, since we're about to celebrate Martin Luther King's Day. We're celebrating that on Monday. I want to close with a quote from Martin Luther King, from Dr. King. He says, "The time is always right to do what's right." Repeat, the time is always right to do what's right. And with that, I bid you farewell. Love you all. Thank you for joining the show, and I will see you all next week. Ayo! Bye now.